of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the agenda, school committee members and student reports, school committee chair report. That would be me. Just to give the viewing audience and to the folks here tonight a very, very brief update on B.F. Brown. First, I want to publicly thank the first responders that fought the fire. We had over 11 communities respond to that 4-alarm fire, and we're happy with the fact that there was no loss of life, and all the firefighters. There was one injury to a Leominster firefighter. We wish him the best in his recovery. It's not a serious injury, but we wish him the best. And we are moving forward. We're still gathering data regarding the building, and we will have some direction, hopefully within the next few weeks, as to where we are going with that building. This week I attended, along with a number of other folks, the Fitchburg High School 4th year, the Advanced Placement Kickoff Assembly. Also in line with that is, I'm going to hold up a newspaper article from Thursday, September 29th. And this is a library at their fingertips. And that is Ms. Kim Cochran, our school librarian. If you think regarding advanced placement and these kinds of issues that we're dealing with and we're providing to our students, if you don't think that innovative education is happening in the Fitchburg Public Schools, particularly our high school, I want you to take a look at this and remember that this is why we're probably one of the best school systems in the North County, certainly in the Commonwealth, if you ask me. So I want to thank those folks who contributed to this, certainly Ms. Cochran as well. And I think that's about it for my piece on the school committee report. Resource Committee, Chairman Stevens, please.
Resource Committee, we met on the 30th. One thing, Mr. Jokla has developed an agenda that we talk about at all our resource meetings. The first thing we do is we approve our minutes. We talk about any grants that might be submitted or accepted. We talk about school choice requests that come in. We talk about line item transfers, the enrollment update, budget update, staffing update, and building needs facility committee update. This past week there are some things on the agenda tonight that we talked about. One of them particularly for the high school, the technology tools, 2 mounted Epson Brightlink Wi-Fi projectors. That'll be on there tonight. We talked about the tennis courts at Fitchburg High School and getting those repaired. So we cover quite a bit. And one quick one on the enrollment, 133 students officially. That's from new this year. That means extra money coming next year, not this year, but next year. It's based on your October 1st enrollment. So, anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Stevens, are you also school building needs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but that was kind of...
Was that part of it? Okay,
part of it.
good. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Policy Committee, that would be Ms. Cragen, and she's not as doing it.
Yeah, at this time, there is
Okay.
nothing to report. I know they're in the process of trying to schedule a meeting to update some new policies before the end of October. So we will keep you updated as the date comes up.
Any questions from the committee? No, thank you. Student Support Committee, Ms. LaBelle Pierce.
So we're just continuing the process of figuring out how to get some GALA grant funds to teachers for after-school programs and we'll be continuing that process, hopefully rolling that out at the new year. But we have set a date for the next gala meeting, the gala event, May 6th, 2017. So mark the calendars, and I'd love to see you all there. It's a great fundraiser, a lot of fun. Fitchburg High is always, I think, an attractive building, but it really becomes transformed on that night, and it's very elegant, and we get together and are raising money for a good cause to expand after-school offerings throughout the system. So, save the date.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you. Bob Pierce. School Personnel Committee, that would be me. We're still working on our nutrition meetings, and we met this week, myself and Vice Principal Jokola, along with Rick Zena, our Personnel Director. So we're still working on reaching an agreement with that group, and we're making some advances. We'll keep you apprised. And something that we always wait with great anticipation, our student report, or in this case, reports.
So last time we met with you guys, we talked a lot about events that are going on, such as a school store. After we talked to you guys, we were able to create a schedule where we opened it more often. So we had people go in before school started, during lunches, and after school to keep the store open. And it's become a huge success. There's a huge profit, huge benefit for the school. There's many apparels being sold, sweatshirts, baseball shirts, sweatpants, and now that we have Spirit Week coming. Talk about that.
So this week is like our Spirit Week. So like leading up to our homecoming game and dance on Friday and Saturday, we have tomorrow College Day. So we wear our college apparel. And then we have Hawaiian Day, which I think would be pretty cool because it was last year. Formal Day, that's always fun. And then we have America Day on Friday, and also and that'll be our theme for our homecoming game against Neshoba.
Yeah. And for it to benefit for those who don't have like apparels, we put things into the school store to help them so they can like go buy it for like $2 or something. So therefore they can participate in Spirit Week. And also to add on for the homecoming game for America Night, after moving the fan section, it was actually a huge success because many people told us that they liked it a lot better because it helped them get closer and they weren't more spread apart because of the field. And they had a better view of the football field too, so they were able to support the football players better. And the football players themselves said they heard us much more clearly too, so they were able to enjoy that too.
Yeah. Also, the class of 2017 just received their Chromebooks. Everyone was super happy about that. They all say they feel a lot like smarter with their. They really like it. They feel like it helps them a lot in their classes, and I think it's a great opportunity for the class.
Speaking of class of 2017, the attendance last year kind of was not at its best for that class, as well as other classes too. But after going and speaking to them and then going through this year, being their senior year, our attendance has improved so much throughout the first month that everyone is like congratulating our class because we went from like 80% to we've been on 90 and higher since the entire month. So that's been a great accomplishment. In addition, the sports teams are doing very well. The soccer team just won a game, 6-0, against Narragansett. They were very happy about that, and it was exciting. The girls' soccer also, they scored 6-4 against Narragansett, but they tried very hard, and it was a great game.
The volleyball team also won its first game of the season against St. Bernard's. It was 3-2, and it was a very exciting game. I mean, it really was, yeah.
She was one of our star players. Nice write-up in the paper.
Is that why you mentioned it? Okay.
And then other things that are happening would be for the seniors. Again, FAFSA came out finally, and there's scholarship deadlines going on, and people are signing up and going from there.
Building off of that, the Pittsburgh High School hosted the SATs, right? October, last Saturday, and it's just a reminder, like, that this is the seniors' years to finish their test taking to get their scholarships and to get college in order as well.
Speaking of which, the college early applications deadlines are coming out November 1st. It will be by then, so students are stressing out trying to manage everything and go from there.
Did you, can you say a few words about, was it Friday night with the police and fire being recognized at the football game?
Yeah, that was
That was terrific.
amazing.
I couldn't be there. I was at another event at the senior center, but the chiefs both told me they were.
Doing some,
It was a
so
terrific event. Thank
During halftime, the whole fan section, they divided themselves into two lines, and then the fire people and police people, they walked we made them a row and they walked past, and then we thanked them for all of their services.
great.
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Actually, one of them started crying. That's how emotional they got. They were so appreciative of what we had done for them, and they were like thanking us and how, because we do appreciate what they do, but when we do show them that appreciation, it's a lot more for them. And so after that, they were very happy and thankful for it.
We have a special relationship with the police and fire in the city of Fitchburg. We're proud of that. Yes.
I was at that game, and I just want you to know that adults in the stands, I mean, I think everybody was moved by what you did. And obviously we live in a difficult time right now, right? And for the relationship to be so strong with our public servants and our students, I mean, that was just really touching. And it's a very class act by a lot of the kids, so thanks. It was nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
I think
Yes.
we're very fortunate. Many of those members of the police force are former Fitchburg High School students, graduated from Fitchburg High School, care about the city very much, and
Coach. They help coach a lot of our
coach.
teams. Yeah.
So, Fitchburg Police and Fire are very involved with the city and the school system. Thank you for doing that.
So just to close it up, we did have the AP kickoff assembly last week. It was really inspiring to me personally, and I think it'll lead up to a great year this year.
You did a very nice job as usual. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Staff and student presentations. Superintendent Ravenel. Yeah.
I just want to thank the student reps. I mean, you model what we talk about all the time, and that's collaborative, working together. I mean, for the two of you to work that out and both present together is really, really good. And that's why the teams are doing so well, too. We're recognizing tonight, we have 3 FHS Honors Academy students who've been named National Hispanic Scholars. I'm going to call out the 3 names of the students, and then I think there is an adult teacher here who's going to join them. So if you would come up. The first one is Grayson Chesbro. Grayson? And Ariana Cruz Rivera. And Sofia Concalves. And I don't know whether these are sponsors or mentors or what the title is, but with Grayson, we have Mr. Torres, who's not able to be here tonight, but sent a letter that someone is going to read. We have Mr. Tora from McKay Arts Academy for Ariana, and Miss Cormier for Sophia from Rheingold. So we have the teachers with them, too. So I just want to welcome you and congratulate you, and maybe you can tell our school committee and the people at home, what is this exactly that you've been honored for?
So,
It'll pick up, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Pull it down.
You can bend it.
Bend it down.
There you go.
Okay. So basically, this is a program sponsored by the College Board. It's based on the PSATs that we took last fall as juniors. And basically, it's a way to honor Hispanic scholars that out of the 250,000 test takers that were Hispanic, only 5% are chosen for their best scores.
Wow.
And this information is made available to colleges so that they can honor these students and look for them also in the application pool.
250? How many?
Out of 250,000, they picked
250,000, and they choose 5%, and you're in the 5%. 3 of you from Fitchburg. Wow.
I think they're in the top two.
Yeah.
2%.
You're in the top two.
So not 3%, not 5%, 2%, and a 3.5 GPA.
You have some movement, some room to grow. there,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Not a heck of a lot, but you got a little bit.
Great.
Can't do
So
much
maybe
better than
if
that.
anyone else wants to talk about what you're doing and what this means to you, and how do you think this will play out for you?
I think that this award is something that's really excellent because it recognizes all the hard work that I've seen these two put into their schooling. And also, not to toot my own horn, but also the work that I've put into my schooling. And so that I think it's really important for us to recognize when people exert so much effort inside to something, and that this award really does that for us, and it makes sure that it gets out there, that people are working hard. And I think that that's something that should be extended to as many people as possible.
And I know we have sponsors here tonight, so maybe we could hear from them, Mr. Tora or Ms. Cormier.
So I'm not Miguel Torres, but I'm
You're the reader. You're the reader.
not here taking his place. I'm Martha
Perfect.
Clark, and I'm principal of Rheingold. And Mr. Torres was a teacher at Rheingold, and he was the one chosen. Thank you. And he was unable to come tonight. So it says, I have a letter from him.
Okay.
Dear Grayson, your elementary teacher, me, Mr. Torres, was unable to make it tonight. I'm now retired and I don't drive much at night, so I'm unable to attend. I did send a congratulatory letter, but it hasn't gotten here yet, so I'm sorry. It should get here soon. When I heard that you had received this distinction from the College Board, I said, it's an honor to have such an intelligent student as Grayson in my class. Although I'm glad he received this honor, I'm not surprised, as he showed this great promise in his elementary years as well. I wish him the best. So the district has conveyed to Mr. Torres what you have said about him, and he was very touched.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Tora?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me here tonight, and it's been a while since I've seen you, and I'm just really impressed with the young woman you've become. I knew you as a little girl, and now you're all grown up, and I hope you continue to do amazing things. And it was an honor for me to be your teacher all those years ago. Proud of you, Ariana.
I'm proud that you were my teacher.
Thank you.
And Ms. Cormier?
I have to agree with what Mr. Torres said. In third grade, we knew you were a shining star. And I haven't seen you in a long time either. However, her mother did work in our cafeteria and would graciously share pictures of how grown up Sophia has become. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for mentioning me tonight. It really, really warms my heart. And you too will go very far. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I really like this aspect of it because one of the things we focus on graduation all the time. And, you know, the time that you all get honored and recognized is your senior year in graduation. And we've tried to do things many times to show that it's not just your senior year teacher or your junior year teacher. There are teachers all throughout your academic career who have, you know, helped to shape who you are. And oftentimes, you know, the connection will not always be with the teacher in your senior year. It might have been with a second grade teacher. I know from my daughter, it was her second grade teacher she still talks about to this time. So this is an opportunity for us to not just thank teachers at the high school, but all the teachers along the way who kind of help you find, you know, your strengths and where you want to go. So I don't know if there's anything from the school committee members.
Question, when did you start school in Fitchburg?
I've been here my entire life.
Same. Me too.
Wow, so all three.
That's something we've talked about
Yeah.
before. Students who start with us get a good education, and you three prove it. You know, congratulations.
That's amazing. That really is amazing that the three of you have been in the system for all your 12 years. So have I. So, okay.
Just about this, yeah.
So what were the tests that you took? What are your content areas or?
All right, so it was the PSAT, which
Oh,
is
the
a
PSAT, right.
practice test for the SAT that measures your ability for critical reading, writing, and math. And so you'd get 3. Yeah.
That's great.
I have something to say. I have to say I'm so proud of you. I was reading this like Saturday night, and I'm choking up, and I don't truly know you, but I'm just so proud, and I want you to take a moment and thank your parents. If you haven't done so, thank them, because every time you were in an attitude or you were running late for school or whatever, they were always there for you, and they're always going to be there for you. And I think I say this from experience, we forget to thank them. So, tomorrow morning, thank them. Leave them a Post-it, something. And congratulations.
And I think we'd like to thank your parents, too, because we talk about the partnership, that the best education happens when the home and the school has a good partnership. So I see you're all here tonight, so we want to take a moment and thank you for...
Any idea where you're going to school next year? You're going to school next year, aren't you?
Of course.
Where? Any idea yet? Or what?
I'm still not sure yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Who have you
looking around.
applied to?
I haven't applied to anyone yet.
I mean, really? Anyone? Is it too early for that? Or,
It is. Just a little.
Yeah.
Well, they're seniors, right? You're seniors.
Yeah, but another month.
Oh, is that okay? It's been a long time.
All of you, have you gotten your application online for the Alumni Award?
The what?
They have money
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Make
See
sure you
your
follow up
guidance
on that.
counselors.
Right.
Pittsburgh High School Alumni Association. I'm chairman of the board. And we like to award our outstanding students. Actually, and it's not just for academics, anybody who participates and gives back to the school, the city, we like to give them an award. We don't give scholarships, we like to give awards, which you can take to the bank.
Okay, go do your homework now. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a certificate for you. So congratulations to Grayson Chesbro, and named National Hispanic Scholar by the College Board, and Ariana and Sophia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you remember last year, we had the Bridges program, and they're back here. Representatives of the Bridges program are here to talk a little bit about what they're doing and what their plans are for the coming year. And Lourdes Ramirez, the principal of McKay Arts Academy, is going to introduce them.
We'll have Patty drop them.
So good evening. Last year, I shared with you about the Bridges Together, which is an intergenerational program, and we had a partnership with Fitchburg State University and their Alpha program, where their older elders came and visited our third grade class and implemented the curriculum from Bridges Together. I am here to announce that we fortunately were able to secure the program to come back to McKay this year, and we will be having many of the Alpha volunteers that worked with us last year returning to McKay this year. In addition, we are looking for more volunteers because last year we had one class participate in the program, and then the other two classrooms in the third grade team. But this year we will be hosting the program simultaneously in all three classrooms. So we need more volunteers to join us. And we are partnering again with Alpha and with Fitchburg State University, and they will be conducting trainings for new volunteers who are willing to join us. So we are looking for older people. Yeah, Mr. Stevens, please join us. And there will be 2 sessions. One will be on October 4th from 9 to 10 a.m. And the other session will be on October 6th from 1 to 2 p.m. And they will take place at the Center for Professional Studies, and that's the office right across Dunkin' Donuts on Main Street, and it's part of the university. And Danny Landon and Lisa Moisen will be facilitating the trainings. So anyone interested, we will certainly provide more information and the required paperwork, like a query and all those other details, will support people through the process. And I wanted to also take this opportunity to thank the 3rd grade team, because without their support, this program couldn't take place in their classrooms. And clearly, Fitchburg State University for their continued support, especially Lisa and Danny at the Center for Professional Studies. And we have one teacher that just joined the 3rd grade team this year, and she will be going to the Bridges Together office in Sudbury to get the training to be able to participate in the program. So anyone interested, feel free to reach out to me or to Danny at the Center for Professional Studies. And
What were the times again?
October 4th from 9 to 10 a.m. and October 6th from 1 to 2 p.m. We try to do a morning and an afternoon session so people could accommodate their schedules.
The time commitment in the classroom.
Oh, I love that you're really thinking about this. So after this training, it will be for 6 weeks, and it's for like an hour and a half. So usually the older people would come to the main office, and then we would escort them to the different classrooms, and then they implement the lesson, and then they are free to go after that.
Is that 6 weeks, 5 days a week?
No, it's once a week. It will
Once a
be, I
week.
believe, on Wednesdays. So you know where to find me.
Probably should put this up on FATV. This would be a really,
idea.
yeah, if one of those spots that shows up, because you can get a lot of interest there.
Thank you. I will do that.
Now, you said you were partnering with Alpha, but you don't have to be in the Alpha program in order to do this, right?
Exactly, exactly. Any older person who will be interested in working with 3rd graders would be welcome to join us. Any questions?
Further questions?
We'll come back and share, like we did last year, some of our experiences with the program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Approval of the minutes from the previous school committee meeting, approval of the minutes of the regular school committee meeting of September 19th, 2016. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. Is there a need for executive session? I don't believe there is. All right. New business. Any new business? Seeing none, unfinished business from previous meetings? Seeing none, moving on to communications. Yes.
Just a reminder, Wednesday night, 6 to 8, Division 4 is meeting here. And I believe Glenn Kuchar will be here, and Ellen Holmes from MASC. We're all invited. That's for school committee
Yeah.
members. They're going to be talking about going over all the resolutions that are going to be voted on at the Cape.
Any other communications? What do you think? Yeah. I'm being advised that probably I could mention that in the spirit of communications that Campaign to Save Our Public Schools will be here in Fitchburg on Saturday at Park Hill Plaza. I believe that's the MTA. There's an MTA office there, and the president of MTA, Barbara Mataloni, will be there if anyone is interested in attending. And again, this is in the interest of the vote coming up in November for raising the cap on charter schools. We as a committee have voted to oppose that, and that's why I'm announcing this publicly. So if you are interested in supporting our opposition to that, please attend. And again, that is 9:30 on Saturday morning at Park Hill Plaza. Thank you. Anyone wishing to provide public comment on any issue? 5-minute limit. Is there anyone in the audience? Seeing none, superintendent's report.
Okay, the first thing I'd like to do is, for the people at home, if they haven't been outside, we have Mr. Fermani here tonight, and he is one of the people who planned and organized the front renovations of the front of the middle school, and this was a little slideshow that he put together. So I'll show you that first for the people at home. This is right in front of the building here.
The jungle.
You can see it totally had encroached out over the benches. Great job. Great job. Great job. So with that, I'd like to invite Mr. Fermani to come up and have him talk a little bit about working on the project and give you an opportunity to put a face with the name if you didn't already have one, and thank him personally.
I'm back.
So you're back. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come back many more times.
So tell us about this project a little bit.
These have been fun. I mean, I reached out, I can't remember, probably 2 months ago to probably do another project with Fitchburg. And I thought it was going to be with South Street, replacing the trees out front. But the superintendent had a different idea. I met here with Joe Richardson, and this was a great project. It's certainly different, though. This one was a big one. Mm-hmm. Took a lot of collaboration between ourselves, the school, and the city. If the city wouldn't have come up with and had the DPW do the demo, there was no way this one was going to get done, at least not by us. Mm-hmm. They're self-funded, so I have to be careful of my projects because we like doing them. Neil Zaney from the Gardner spot, if it wasn't for him having the same views I do about giving a little bit back, even if it's just a couple projects a year, I wouldn't be able to do these. But this one certainly was different. This took a little bit of everybody's input because the base of the project was to give the kids a real proud front of their school. They come in, they see it every single day. I didn't realize how much space was there until all those bushes were ripped out. Mm-hmm. Right, it was huge. To make it maintenance-free was big. So Joe, superintendent, all ponied up their ideas for it. And we kept it as simple as possible, but maintainable.
Right.
Everything gets cut down at the end of the year. Everything grows back on its own. They're all drought resistant. Right? We really did try. Yeah. And I'm trying right now to find someone who will adopt it. So it's totally school-free. I got my ideas. But this one really was. This was DPW. This was the city of Fitchburg. This was the school committee. This was everybody. We really took an all-out effort to do this one because it was a big one.
Well, and the
appreciate it.
reason why, because originally it was going to work on the trees in front of South Street, but I think as we shared with you, Unitil is going to do
Right.
that. We've got that fence that we've got to fix, and we're going to get that ready because we've got a sign, an electronic sign coming into South Street to Rheingold, and there's going to be an electronic sign here, right where the sign is today. So this is kind of really setting the stage for a really beautiful front of the school with that sign. And you're so easy to work with. I mean, just, you're constantly there for communicating, and, you know, you had to work with DPW and other members, and they couldn't have been better. I mean, they were here with that heavy equipment, pulling out those shrubs, and that's the work that could not have been done without their cooperation.
And we're just waiting for the school to let us know when the new sign's in, so we can do both sides of that as well.
You know, that what you said, Joe, is absolutely critical to a lot of the assets we have in Fitchburg, the public assets we have, becomes increasingly difficult to maintain them. You need more people to do that, and we're trying to do more with less. So the more that we can become maintenance-free, like what you've done out there. Some of our parks, you know, years ago we put shrubs in. Well, shrubs need to be trimmed. And if they're not trimmed, they really look bad. So sometimes you're better off removing them, like you did out front, and putting something that's drought-resistant and much more less labor-intensive. And we thank you for that. It looks great. We appreciate it.
Like I said, you guys always make it easy. I mean, we started doing stuff like this back in 2010, and just like you're saying, we made our mistakes. We picked poorly.
Yeah.
Projects that looked great when they were first done, but
Right.
some of them I still maintain today. Only because, you know, did we go overboard? Yeah, maybe. But we also thought the people we did it for were going to step up and kind of keep the ball rolling. So we've learned. You know, we've learned that the school systems have been the most appreciative for sure. And then, you know, we think of how many kids are going to pass them. You know, it's not just today's kids. It's not just going to be mine. It's going to be a bunch of them. So we appreciate you guys letting us do it.
Very grateful city. We appreciate it in the school department. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a tie for you. A little token of our appreciation. And thank you for your family for giving you up tonight, but they didn't give you up. I guess they came with you, so. Thanks so much.
You know, when I think back when the school opened in '67, we used to have beautiful lights out front. And I can remember, and they also put them in Rheingold, and the big plastic globes. And when they demonstrated, and they hit them with a baseball bat, they didn't break, nothing happened to them. And I think the company was either from Florida or California. They didn't realize that the cold weather, you didn't have to do much hitting in January. They just fell apart. If you look at some of the old brochures, you'll see the front of the building and the light poles and the globes. And like you said, Joe, it needs to be taken care of. We didn't take care of them as a school system because it was beautiful out front. But like everything else, when 81 hit, and we lost a lot of people in the system, we weren't able to take care of things anymore. But we do have a lot of people throughout the city. Our Conservation Committee, Dennis DeGara, Tommy Starr, Tom Donnelly, our Mike Rotary up at on John Fitch Highway and Ashby State Road. What a wonderful job they do taking care of it up there. So I'm hoping somebody will step forward and take care of this. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
So there's a donation to South Street, and it's $188 from Donors Choose, and it's for learning English with puppetry. And then we have some school choice funds to be expended, and the first is for the tennis courts. I'm looking at the number 27, and I'm trying to remember back to our resource committee. We had raised that
To 30
to 32.
35.
35?
33.5.
Okay.
33.5.
So that needs to be changed when you do the action item. So it says 27,000 now, but it's actually not to exceed
Not to exceed 35.
35,000.
33.
$33,500.
33,500. 33,500. And then there's an investment of school choice funds for $9,999, and that's for an architectural study for the overhang at Lonjo.
Yeah.
And hopefully the architectural study will give us some designs and some ideas of how we can move forward and repair that and really upgrade that entrance to the building. Then there's an investment in 2 more mounted Epson projectors for the high school. We, as we're going along, anytime somebody gets moved or is going to give it a new classroom, we want to make sure that they have all of the electronic equipment that they need to do their work. And then it's not on the agenda, but it's so important that I just wanted to take a few minutes to do it. There was, and I think you missed it also, Mr. Mayor, because you had to leave early, the AP awards. There was a PowerPoint presentation.
This week.
This week,
Yeah.
Friday. So I was going to do it, but Jeremy is here, so I have it loaded up, and I just thought we should run it through for you because it's really about our partnership with Mass Insight, and I think it's good for the people at home to hear that. This one? It should be the one that's the longer one that has everything. Yeah, the one with 17. Go right to the... Yeah. Because the numbers and on this are really impressive. So we had a really big kickoff assembly. The mayor was there. The state representative Hay was there. There were other people there. And it was interesting because the former president of the senior class, and help me with his name.
Matt Medagliaca.
Yeah, Matt Medagliaca was there, and he said when he was a freshman, there were only the first 3 rows of the auditorium of students, and this was the whole bottom level of the auditorium was full of students. So, Jeremy, you're familiar with this. Maybe you can run us through
Yeah,
it.
so we've been working with Mass Insight for about 4+ years now, and initially it was a grant situation that we got involved with. They used to call it the Mass Math Science Initiative, MIMSI for short, and it really, the goals are listed in terms of what's on the slide there, to increase participation, to decrease achievement gaps, and definitely to prepare students for college success. And by doing that, to get as many students to passing scores, which on a 5-score scale, 1 to 5 is a 3, 4, or 5, though Mass Insight puts a lot of value in a 2 as well, because the College Board lists that as may be qualified. That's actually the description the College Board, who administers AP tests, use. So we had 539 enrollments this year. So we didn't even have every single kid down there that is enrolled in an AP or pre-AP, but we got a lot down, and it's exciting to see that growth in the school and to have so many people there that I think, support what we're doing. From the school committee to Superintendent Ravenel, Representative Hay was there, Leanne Scales from Mount Wachusett Community College, Mayor Di Natale, the Mass Insight folks. I mean, we were really well represented with support. And Senator Flanagan couldn't make it, but she sent well wishes. So, I think they talk about AP. They describe this with the kids. So John Schneider from Mass Insight spoke to the group, our students, and he reminded them about what an AP class is. When Matt spoke, Matt Medagliaca, he talked about, from his perspective, that he's at Suffolk University this year, and he's studying political science, and he talked about to our current students that he felt like the courses that he took, many of them at Fitchburg High School, are more challenging and difficult than the courses he's taking now at Suffolk University, which is what we want to hear, because we want students to experience that level of preparation, so when they make the next shift, they're not blown out of the water by the expectations of college, and he most certainly isn't. And I've heard that so many times from the students who have been taking AP classes, whether it's one or multiple. So you can kind of see, again, this is somewhat of a review, but it is a national exam, so I think it's a great equalizer, too. It's given at the same time to students across the country, internationally even, at other schools. So it's a great, as a school, we've been recognized by College Board, and we're part of their AP honor roll. We have been for a few years. The Gaston Caperton honor roll, which recognizes some of our underrepresented groups and their performance. So it's really exciting. You can see some of the enrollment trends, and then, as I said, this year when we looked at, they just count math, science, and English, because that was the origin of the grant, which actually started, in Texas, and then was adopted here. So we include, as I look at it, I include social studies and foreign language too, because those have great value. And so it's 410 there. It's really 539. Just was looking at it the other day. But you can see really impressive growth since we've been a part of this collaboration and partnership with Mass Insight, and that's in the green bar column as opposed to the previous years in red. You can also see just in math and science, we've really done well in terms of our performance. So these are scores of 3 or greater, and so we've increased from our previous high water mark and certainly done a lot better. And when you add in, and I think you probably have those slides later on too. Yeah. So you'll see some of the social studies and foreign language added in as well, so it's even better. In that slide just shows kind of the comparison of how some of our low-income students have done. So again, the red columns, you can see we really weren't getting many qualifying scores with students who were designated, by their income status as low income. So, we're proud of the fact, and again, this is just math, science, and English. So when you add in other subject areas too, it's even higher. So these are again, this is similar material, but you saw the African American and Hispanic students, and obviously we're proud of what the 3 students that sat here tonight have accomplished. And
in 2009, we had one student.
Yeah,
one student, one Latino
or African American, so combined. And it was 36 this past year. So, in addition to that, we have a lot of students with 2s. So we talked about setting a goal of, as a school, a Mission 200, and I think that'll come up a little bit later. Females have been underrepresented, especially in some of the STEM subjects in the maths and sciences. So, again, 5 times the amount of qualifying scores in just a few years from what we had been before. We have a long way to go, but definitely I feel like we're working towards, improvement in this. So I spoke a little bit. I talked about this with the students, and we drew some connections to it in terms of the value of challenging courses, dual enrollment, AP, courses that push a student, a little bit outside of their zone of development, so that they're challenged and pushing and having to make themselves better. And, you can see now this includes the social studies and foreign language, because we offer AP Spanish language and comp. And the year prior to our MIMSI was 29 qualifying scores school-wide, and this past year 131. So again, I think we want to get to 200, and that's a goal for the school. We kind of threw down some challenges, but AP scholars are also kids who've passed 3 tests at least or more. We actually had a national AP scholar this past year, a student who passed 8 AP tests while they were at Fitchburg High School. Elizabeth Moisen, you probably remember her from her days sitting over there. But the year prior we had 2, and this past year we had 27. So, again, we're I think a lot of kids are taking the challenge and they're doing well. So we also have great teachers and leadership. I mean, we had 4 of the 54 teachers recognized in the state of Massachusetts as being leaders in this type of teaching and education, and we had 2 English teachers, Colleen Hirons and Julie Alexander, as well as 2 bio teachers, Shelley Romero and Laura Bullock, and Andre Ravenel also got the Leadership Award from Mass Insight. So it was a great event at the Seaport Hotel. It's probably the only time I'll ever be invited to the Seaport Hotel. A great meal, but it was nice to see Fitchburg High School, 55 of 5 of the 55 recognitions for the state came from Fitchburg Public Schools. And I think there's a photo there. Let's see if we have it. Oh,
No, it's not showing up.
yeah, I don't know why.
It's
Ah.
a different format, maybe.
Maybe. So this was just a comparison too, to kind of, when we looked at this with our students, we have to make it connected to where we are as a school too. If we frame the reference of, how do we stack up? And I always say we're an excellent school, and I believe that. Like the mayor said today earlier, I feel like we're the best school in the Commonwealth in North Central Mass. And that said, we want to see where we compare with our neighboring communities, and we have the capacity for 200. We had 136 twos, so we had 136 scores where a kid was maybe 1 or 2 or 3 questions off. They may be qualified by College Board, but with just a little extra effort, even half of those, turn into that's a 200 right there. And not only are we going to compete with Leominster on Thanksgiving Day, but we're going to be above them. And the great thing about this is we've been looking at this for a few years, and we've been shrinking the gap every year. And again, that's been a part of that Mass Insight. When we had a 29 just a few years back, that's you could see where we would have slotted in on this chart. And now that we've been moving up that ladder. And I think our kids feel very excited about the challenge. They know it takes a lot of hard work. We do Saturday sessions with Mass Insight. We do 9 a year. We do AP tutoring sessions after a year. The Chromebooks are a huge. I told them that it actually does raise their IQ when we distributed those last week. So, I mean, in all seriousness, I think that's a huge investment in the students and what they're able to do outside of school too, because many of the study tools are online tools, whether it's Khan Academy or other things like that. So I think, when we look at some of these comparisons, we do note that to the kids too, and with our enrollment. But it's exciting, and I think, it was an exciting day and an event, and we're looking to, do even better this year.
The email from the environment in that auditorium was palpable, was great. And we got an email from John Schneider today, who was the guy from Mass Insight, and he said, he kept repeating, Fitchburg High School is one of our top stories. That they are talking about it a lot, what's being accomplished there over such a short period of time. And he said, I also walked away impressed with the student body. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
The respect, they were excited and enthusiastic, but whatever it is you said and how you say it, you did it a couple of times, okay now, or whatever it was, it's like the place just goes silent, and you just realize they get it. They're here to celebrate, but they're here to be respectful and supportive of one another, and it's really impressive.
Great.
So, glad you were here.
Yeah.
You could get to do that. I know you hate bragging, but,
Not about what the kids and the teachers are doing, though, not at all. And, I think Grayson, Ariana, Sophia have taken great advantage of it, and they're 3 examples of many kids. And again, I even, to me, a success is student takes that challenge. And we love to see the 3s, 4s, and 5s. We've had many success stories with a student who got a 1 because they felt better about themselves as a potential college student. I've talked to those students afterwards, several years later, and they'll say the same thing. I felt like my classes at Fitchburg High School were tougher than the ones I'm taking at fill-in-the-blank college. And that's with a student who got a 1 even. So, we even look at that as success, and our teachers really do yeoman's work there, and so I feel very fortunate.
Could I ask a question?
Oh.
That's just tremendous success. So how many new teachers have you added to teaching AP? So is it just that
We've
they've
added,
taken more sections? or?
Yeah, that's a great question. We had 6 courses that we offered previously, and we offer 15 now. So what Mass Insight has done is they've offered us the summer programming. They have the week-long seminars at Bridgewater State, and they funded Fitchburg States for a number of years at the initial part of our grant. So we've been able to fund, I think, 14, 15 teachers that
that's
way
great.
through the work that we do with them. And the public schools have supported that too. But we've added a lot of courses. Our 2 new ones this year are European history and computer science,
Yeah, that's
which
great.
falls under math.
Yep.
But, physics last year was our first year with that. We're looking at 4 sections this year.
Wow.
Because we had 2, and then the 2 teachers came to me with the 2 pre-APs they have, and they said, these guys are doing just as well as the AP, and they want to take it on. So that's an easy shift, really.
That's great.
So, yeah, it's super exciting.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to congratulate not only the students, but the teachers who participated and our superintendent. But I want to congratulate you too, Jeremy, because I think without your, willingness to do all of this, to take all of this on, I don't think that Fitchburg High would be where it is today without your hard work. So.
Well, I'll also say, I would say quickly that this was one of those, like the ballot initiative question 2, I'd say. When we brought this up, it was not without complications around some of the ramifications with the contract, but the FEA was right on board too and just saw this as, this is going to help kids.
Yeah.
So I got to say, everybody came together really early on, maybe 5 years ago now.
It's 5 years
They
ago.
saw what this was about and said, yeah, we got to figure out a way to make this happen. And so, it's been a real team effort from central office to the building to the classroom to everybody involved, so, and school committee, obviously.
Yes.
Well, and I think it's important because we don't want everybody to be an AP student. Not everybody is going to take AP classes, and I think that's that whole piece of a comprehensive. We still have a school within a school. We have lots of different kinds of things.
Yeah.
So the last thing we want to do is make everyone feel like unless you're one of these students, then you're not a valid student at Fitchburg High. And I think our message consistently is we just have to offer everything.
Yeah.
Because one of those things is going to be the thing that works perfectly for a particular student. So, I think that's where we keep going back to all the time. But what it shows is there was a big hole in what we weren't offering and what we weren't offering students to be challenged. And this is very helpful to colleges, too, because even students who get a 1, they come to college better prepared. And this is all about money, too. Students who get 3, 4s, or 5s get college credit for it. But if you get a 1 or a 2, you're ready for college, and you might not need, and Juana, you know about this from work you do, you might not need remediation. You might not have to take a remediation course, and you can take a course right away. That's money in the pockets of our parents. And with the cost of college now, whatever we can do to help that is really a good thing.
I'd like to just say also the way that you that you roll these programs out and that you present to kids and the tone that you set is so impressionable. I mean, I heard it back at my house after this. Oh, there were all these politicians there. And one of my daughter's friends said, yeah, politicians care that we actually take AP tests. And I think it was an interesting comment. Oh, don't wreck it. But I think you are setting a tone with everything that you do. And, I mean, they're all paying attention to it. So, and hopefully, everybody in the city is paying attention to it when you start to, think what kind of academic experience am I going to get in the Fitchburg Public Schools? Well, boy, top notch. So,
Yeah, I think a great one.
yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you.
One quick one. But it's, Jeremy is going to be at Fitchburg High School this Saturday. He not only talks to the kids, but we have the 60th graduating class coming back Saturday morning to Fitchburg High School with 15 to 20 members. People that graduated in 1956, and he's done it before to other groups, and he talks about Fitchburg High School and what we're doing, and it gets it out to the older members that have graduated.
Yeah.
So, thank you,
fun.
Jeremy.
It's fun to do that, too. Yeah. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was going to mention that, Mr. Bell Pierce, your comment about the politicians. No, you're absolutely right. Because I remember, I was in the State House. I met with John Schneider and a number of folks that were
The funding
driving this
regarding the
issue
funding.
4 or 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
I was there for 9 years, so. But I remember, and it garnered a great deal of support from the legislature, because that's how it works.
Right.
You need, it's not going to be just Fitchburg. It's got to be a large group that agrees to this. And what it's proven is that it works, and it's important, and that's why it's still with us today, and hopefully will be with us for a number of years in the future. So it works. It's successful. So we're happy about that. Sometimes the politicians get it right.
Yeah, I don't know where she would get that.
All set.
Yeah, do we want to take up the action items? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a motion where we'll take 16,733 up through and including 16,737. Is there a motion to accept?
motion.
Motion made and seconded to accept. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is unanimous. No need for executive session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Did we pay the bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, we took
The
that.
last one.
1637. 16,737, right. All right.
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.
Good job.